Shavua Tov and Chodesh Tov to everybody who is here and everybody who will be here, and everybody that will see it, Mitzvah Hashem, on the internet or listen to it on Telegram. So it's a big night tonight. It's Rosh Chodesh Adar. We just went through a whole month of Adar Rishon. And now we are getting into, quote unquote, the real Adar, as it were. The Adar that has Purim in it. And the Chadami, the first one, it can already be B'simcha. Starts from the first one. At least on the Polik, the second one is obviously that's Purim. Purim is, Rabbeinu says, it used to be that all the beginnings were from Pesach, so Rosh Chodeshim. Rabbeinu says, and now, and he didn't finish the sentence, and it was understood that what he meant. We spoke about Purim. He says that all the beginnings are starting now with Purim. So I would like to share an interesting article. This was written by David Gviertzman because it has a lot to do with the main mitzvah of this month, which is Simcha. And obviously, it's not just this month, but it's all the time. So the article starts with the headline that says, "No bemet." Like, seriously? A child comes back from a visit to the cemetery, and he tells, tells his father, "Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be a thief." The father obviously is like, "What?" And the child explains, "Look, I looked at the different tombstones that were in the cemetery. And in all of them, plus minus was written, here is buried Talmid Chacham, here is buried somebody that's Goimel Chasadim, here's somebody Yerushalayim, and loving people, loving the Brias. I haven't seen even one tombstone that says here is buried a famous thief." or here's buried an unbelievably talented con man. So the maskana is that thieves and con men never die. That's why I want to be a thief when I grow up. So what are we talking about? Have you ever seen an announcement, a death announcement, or a tombstone that says that announces the passing of a happy person, Ish Sameach. It's simply like that, Ish Sameach. I've never seen such a tombstone, ever. I mean, Ish Sameach, a happy person or a joyful person, it sounds more like a belittling than a compliment. The only thing that's missing, they'll put, a yellow smiley right next to it, on the tombstone. What is it? What do you mean ish sameach, a happy person? Nubeme. Seriously? Okay, the maximum that people are willing to forgive is sameach bisurim. He was happy with the travails and trials and tribulations and suffering that he went through. Or in a more aggressive version, his sorrow in his heart and his glee is on his face. In other words, we're not talking about somebody who is just happy and joyful. Khalila, we are asking somebody who's serious, somebody whose life was difficult and bitter, but he was able to get above it and smile. That sounds chubadik. That sounds honorable. Humor? Wit? Okay. All right. But simcha? Just being happy? Seriously? Life is too serious for simcha. Well, Rabbi say, in Rosh Chodesh Adar, it is time to change the equation. Simcha is life. Simply put, simcha is life. Simcha about what? What do you mean simcha is life? What are you happy about? Nothing. Simcha about nothing. Simply simcha. You don't have to be sameach in something. Our natural state as Jews is simple simcha, simple happiness. This is our natural disposition. There is no outside reality that enables simcha or precludes simcha. Simcha depends only on one factor and one factor only. You have to agree to be b'simcha, and you have to decide to be b'simcha. Okay, so how about you guys show yourselves? All right, we'll put this on a different in a gallery mode. Omer and Israel and I don't know for my wives if you know how to do it, but put your pictures on. Let's take a look at one another. Omer and Israel, you
אני בנהיגה, זה תכף.
הבנתי, אוקיי. ישראל, how about you?
הקליטה שלי לא הכי טובה,
Okay, let's just
שומע לך בדיליי.
a couple of minutes.
אוקיי?
Let's make a little exercise. Okay?
הקליטה לא הייתה טובה, לא שמעתי, let's make.
A little exercise.
אוקיי, for sure.
As you are listening to these words, please stretch your lips in a smile. A wider smile. A wider smile. A big, great, big, wide smile.
Hard exercise. I'm not used to it.
Make a decision that the next 2 minutes you're going to be happy. Why? Because.
Why?
Because you're happy.
That's life.
You don't need a reason to be happy. Happiness is your natural state. 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, not too much. 2 minutes of being b'simcha without looking for a reason. Friends, this is our challenge in the coming months. 2 minutes of simcha every single day. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard, but it's not it's not impossible. I believe in you. I trust you. It is possible to do it. 2 minutes of simcha a day. And you can do it, a couple of times a day, a few times a day if you want to. If you're a machmir, if you're then you can do it a few times a day. Like anybody who's game, join in. All right? So
Great.
this is the beginning for today, Rosh Chodesh Adar. Baruch Hashem. The simcha of being Jewish. I have Kanai Nahara, I have a mother-in-law who's Baruch Hashem with us now, who Kanai Nahara is 96 years old, almost 97. And it's not easy. It's not easy to be 97. People don't understand, the difficulties. You have to sit up, you have to get out of the bed, you have to stand up. Besides, she fell, she went to the hospital, she came back. So she has to go through physiotherapy, and it's painful, it's not easy for her. People that do not understand what we're talking about and say like, whoa, 96 years old, that's like, why does a person need to live 100 years old, 120 years old? What's the point? I mean, you can hardly go anywhere. You need people to help you, people to schlep you, or whatever. But people don't understand what's pshat of being a Yid, what's pshat of being a Jew. There is the great Breslov Gdolim was Rabbi Nachman of Tulchin. He was the Rav of the town. He was a Goyen Olam. His father was the Rav of Breslov, the Paskin Rav of Breslov. His grandfather was the Baal and the Rav that Rabbeinu made to be the first, the Rav of Breslov. And he was like the third one. But he wasn't Rav in Breslov, he was Rav in Tulchin. And he didn't want to be a Rav at all. Was Goyen Olam was well, you want to sit and learn. He doesn't want to be a Rav, So I don't know if Nosson told him or Nachum Tulchina told him. They said, listen, you don't have to be sitting in the office all day for people to come to you. You can have the motz of the town, sit in Paskin Aloha. I said, if there's something in Aloha they don't know the answer, and you know the answer, just tell them what the answer is. Okay, for this he agreed. That's the way he was, the Rav of Turin, the Nachman of Turin. I made a mistake, I said Tulchin, no. The Turiner Rav was called. He, just to understand, he made a compendium of Kitzer of the entire Likutei Halachos, which is divided by subjects, and the whole thing. He made a compendium of Kitzer of all the Talmidei Baal Shem, all the Torah's Talmidei Baal Shem, again, according to subjects of Achilo, of Ahavo, of everything, all the Talmidim. And then he made a compendium of Kitzer of all the Talmidei Amagetz from Mizrich, again, according to subjects. I mean, encyclopedic mind. When he was old, He was very sick, and Lemaise, he was paralyzed. He could talk, but he was paralyzed, and he was in a great deal of pain, and so they found him an aid, and the aid that they found to him was a coarse person, of course, Jew. That's a job, to move a person who cannot move himself, And this person, behaved coarsely. It was coarse, but he behaved coarsely with him. So Shrinarov told him, I became cheap by you. You have to understand who you're talking with, who you're dealing with. But the Shrinarov told the people, you probably think that I would be better off if I didn't live any longer. Stop suffering. But you're wrong. Every single breath that a Jew draws in this world is Elishon. The value of it is beyond compare. A Jew is something else completely. There is every single minute, every single hour is divided by 1,080 halakim. Shabbos Mevarchim, we announced, Rosh Chodesh. So what the halakim got, 1,080 halakim. There are 1,080 different combinations from Shem Havaya Baruch Hu, Shem Elokim Baruch, which means you take an hour and you divide it to 1,080 parts. It comes out basically, every part is one breath, which means that every breath you take, you are conjugating a yichud of Havaya Elokim, which never was and never will be, because every day is different. Every breath that you draw, that a Jew breathes in this world, is singular. It's beyond compare. It's one of a kind for eternity, from eternity and to eternity. Every breath. This is what a Jew is, and his main simcha is that we are Jewish. Why do you think that we are so hated around the world? Because they know. They can't put their finger on it. They can't explain it, what it is that bothers them, but they know they're not Jewish. Ultimately, a Jew matters. Every breath you take matters. In the most fundamental way possible. You are one mitzvah with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Tell her the story about Friedrich the Great, the king of Germany, that was friendly with the philosopher Voltaire, the propagandist of the progenitors of the scholar, of the Enlightenment, of blah blah blah. And from this friendship, he fell into epicarsis. He was into. So he had an argument with the chief priest of Germany. I don't know, the Protestants. I don't know what the chief priest is called, but whatever it is, the number one, the chief kahuna of the church in Germany. So King Friedrich the Great asked the priest, do you have a proof to the existence of God? Give me proof. So the priest thought and said, the Jews. And this is what a goy knows about you. You are a walking, living, breathing announcement of the truth, of Hashem's existence, by just being, that's it. You don't have to do anything. Rabbeinu said this is enough to dance for 7 years. So we're going to, B'ezrat Hashem, do the exercise of pasting a silly smile on our faces for 2 minutes, just being happy for 2 minutes, for 2 minutes, a few times a day if possible. That's the beginning of Chodesh Adar, and now, B'ezrat Hashem, let us visit the Sipurey Baal Shemtov. And this week, we are telling the story about Yehuda Leib Salas. He was one of the Baal Shemtov. The Leib Salas, he was known as the Leib Salas. He was born close to Ruvna, the town of the Maggid of Mizrich. The story of his birth goes as follows. His father Yosef was an offspring of the Maharal of Prague. And a Hasidic story, Hasidic tale explains how come he got the moniker of Saras, meaning it's the son of Sarah. Why not Yosef? Why not the Bleib Yosef's? Why the Bleib Saras, the son of Sarah? So the story is that his mother was an exceedingly beautiful woman, and the son of the local landlord of the poets wanted her, and she refused to acquiesce, so that she should not remain unattached. She very quickly got married to a Melamed, a very elderly man named Rabbi Yosef. He wasn't a young man. After the chuppah, when they were both alone in the room, Rabbi Yosef the Melamed, the old person, told him as follows: my wife, because you had the Rachmanis, the covenant of Kodesh Baruch Hu, and instead of life of luxury, of like being a duke, you chose an old man that will not live for very, very long. I promise you that we will have a son. B'ezrat Hashem, he will be a bracha, b'kerev haaretz, and his name will be known amongst Israel, and your name will be called upon him all the days of his life. This is the reason why Bleib Saras is called after his mother. The story goes that Bleib Saras was one of the Mekoravim Baal Shem HaKodesh when Bleib was 15 years old. And he got into the room of Baal Shemtov, and he started skipping and jumping to the length and the width of the room. The Talmidei Baal Shem became very upset. The chutzpah with this young boy, skipping and running around the room. But the Baal Shem calmed him down, and he turned to the young boy, whatever. He says, "You're sharp. I know all about you and everything you do. But you should know that the road that you walk is a dangerous one. You are walking on the edge of a sword. Don't go that way. Hold on to me. And from that moment on, the Bleb Tsaris, attached himself to Baal Shemtov and became a faithful disciple of him. And the Bleb Tsaris is told, as an exceedingly good-looking man and very healthy, very strong, in a great, amazing London. And he is accounted amongst the tzaddikim and historian, the hidden tzaddikim, in the Hasidic lore. And at his latter years, he was going around in towns and villages and in forests, and he was going to various fairs and in streets, and he was Isaac in being Mekarev Jews. Simple Jews being Mekarev to the Torah. He's very famous by giving his koiches to the mitzvah Pidim Shvuim. He was very famous for that, and rescuing people who were persecuted. And Reb Leib was known against his struggles against the imperiousness of the Jewish wealthy. And he did not step away, stay back, but confronting them and in order to be able to prevent hurt to the poor people. The Bleb Tsaris looked away from being a rabbi, from any kind of position, and he was very vehement about not writing down things that happened to him. And he refused to build up a Hasidic court. And the few things and stories about him were printed by Rav Reuven Margolius. Zchusot again aleinu, Rosh Chodesh Adar, the Bleb Tsaris. There's also a story, the woman is still alive, about the granddaughter of Rabbeinu. She lived in Uman. And her children, Baruch Hashem, is in Yerushalayim. She must be close to 100. She also had the same story. She was an exceedingly beautiful woman. Even now, the age late 90s, she's still a beautiful woman. And my son Avrami has videos of her. She tells stories about Uman, and a guy fell in love with her, and he bothered her and didn't leave her alone, to the point that she threw herself off the bridge of the river in wrestling. Uman, exactly what has happened. And so the guy said, "Okay, such a mad woman, I don't need in my life." And this is how she was saved from him. A Yid. All right, why don't we take a look at this week's Sichos Haran. You are open to say whatever comes to your mind. Ask. Sicha number 232. Chaf Lamed Beis. Reish Lamed Beis. Od shamati mipi anal. I also heard from that same person. Shekama pamim nichnas alav rotzel daber ito imoy. That many times, a few times, he came into Rabbeinu and wanted to speak to him, but he couldn't open his mouth to speak before him, whatever is in his heart. And once he was standing by Rabbeinu and he was serving Rabbeinu, and he wanted to speak with him immediately, but he couldn't open his mouth. He was too intimidated. So then Rabbeinu Zechor told him, ordered him to give him his shoes so he can put them on before Shabbos. It was after he came out of the mikveh. And then, when he gave him the shoes, Rabbeinu told him as follows, by himself, get yourself used to speaking before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you'll be able to speak to me. And then also afterwards, when he finally was zecher to speak to him, he came to him and he wanted to speak, and it was very difficult. So Rabbeinu told him as follows: there was one Gibor, there was one hero that decided he's going to conquer a very, very strong wall, strong city, until he came to the gates. Came to the gate. There was on the gate spider webs. It was blocked by spider webs. And says, is there a bigger nonsense for him to retreat, because after everything that he went through, to be shut off from his goal by a wall that's made out of spider webs? And the nimshal is obvious. Then he says the main dibur, the main thing is dibur. The main thing is to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because it's through dibur, by speaking, you can actually overcome and conquer everything. You can win all the wars. He says, even though it is possible to make isbedus in thought, the main thing is to speak. And the nimshal is mimele understood. That thing which is difficult on a person to speak before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or before two tzaddikim, everything which is in his heart. All this comes because of busha and heaviness, that he doesn't have azus de kedusha, a holy resoluteness. Bevada, it's a shtus gadol. It's such a big nonsense. You want to conquer with your dibur the biggest war on earth, which is milchemes hayetzer. Every single day, the yetzer is trying to bring you down. Now you're so close. You know of the tzaddik. You know of his vedidus. You know of Torah. You're so close to conquering and breaking down walls and open gates by the dibur. And for a little stumbling block of chlishas adas, being apprehensive, being chas v'sholem, you will not speak. This mania is like a mania of a blockage of spider webs. Vis-a-vis the walls that you actually want to break with your dibur. And also this person said to me, Rabbeinu ordered him that he'll have his vedus 2 hours in a day, 1 hour to prepare himself. And then, what am I going to talk about, whatever it is, and get ready, block out the metzius of this world, and then speak for 1 hour. That's the Sichos Haran. It's a whole world. This is a whole world of avodas Hashem in one package, in one little paragraph. The thing about the menir that comes from laziness, that comes from inconvenience, that comes from whatever reasons, is plainly understood. We all know it, and we need to be mechazek ourselves and speak about it many, many times over. But the thing that I really want to touch is actually the last point. in which he said that that particular person, Rabbeinu told him he should make his berurah for 2 hours, 1 hour to prepare himself, 1 hour to daven. This is not something that is feasible for people of our stance. It's above our pay grade. However, when you begin to make his berurah, Reb Nosson says that just to come in and start talking, there is a bechino of tchikas hashor. You're pushing your agenda. And this is not, as I said, this is not a good thing. Anybody pushes the agenda, he wants it now, he wants it now. The time pushes him back. Anybody who's okay, just pushed away, this has to wait, fine. The hour, the time plays to his advantage. So coming in and talking, making this berurah, there's a bechina of tchikas hashor. So what are you supposed to do? The thing you're supposed to do is you begin your berurah. You're making berurah for an hour. You start your berurah with 15 minutes of waiting. You just wait. What are you waiting for? You are waiting for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you go into making this berurah, you feel that everything is on your shoulders. You have to succeed making this berurah. You have to make it. You have to push, and you do. But you will make his berurah when you come to making his berurah, to talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you feel like you're all alone. Maybe you'll make it, maybe you won't make it. Starting his berurah with silence and waiting for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to send you the proper dibur. The first thing it does, it foments your emunah in the fact that his berurah is not a monologue. It's a dialogue. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. He's with you. Rabbeinu said, Abishter is by dir, mit dir, close to you, with you, all the time. When you are inside your head thinking, whatever you're thinking, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there with you. You're never alone. Wait for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Wait for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to step in. Now, for me personally, it's exceedingly difficult to do it for 15 minutes because I'm like ADD to an unbelievable extreme. And while I'm waiting, and it's not only me, I was having by other people as well. You know, you're okay. So what I'm supposed to think about during these 15 minutes of saying nothing? Let's say you're outside, so you're watching cars going back and forth. Yeah, could be. You're reflecting maybe on where you are in Yiddishkeit, what's going on with you. You can look up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and just be silent and patiently wait, if you can do that. I found it sometimes helpful for me to gather my attention that I'm actually waiting, but talking in the meantime. I'm not saying, it's not a part of this berurah, as it were, but I know if I won't talk, that my thought process will take me somewhere else. So in the meantime, I talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu about the fact that I'm actually waiting, but I have to keep on speaking because otherwise, I'm going to be shooting, baskets from half a court and obviously hitting, scoring every single time in my mind while I'm waiting for Kadosh Baruch Hu to speak to me. The main akuda is wait for Kadosh Baruch Hu to come to you. Then you start seeing like, okay, how about I talk about this? And you start. In the beginning, it was like, talk about this. Yeah. Kadosh Baruch Hu really knows about it. Or this is what I want to talk about. All kinds of go. As Yogi Berra said, if you come to a fork in the road, take it. Drive on that line. Yeah, it's a good subject, not so good subject. Go. Do it. And things will open. I learned on the Shabbos table today a Sicha of Rabbeinu about the koyach of melitza. Anybody who can tell me what is the English translation of the word melitza, I would love to hear it. The closest translation I can come to is presentation, advocation. It's the way that you come and you present the subject you're talking about, either a person or a situation, and you're using like good reasons, right reasons, true reasons, and nice diburim, like style, you're quote unquote waxing poetically, like you in a charming way. Rabbeinu says the koyach of melitza. I don't know what's the proper English translation for this. Rabbeinu says that the koyach of melitza is huge. When it's, when in Shemaim and somebody's melamed schus on somebody else, it's called meilitz yosher. Making amlotza. Amlotza is no. No, Rami, what is amlotza? Rami, you with us? Amlotza.
Affirmation.
No, amlotza is a recommendation.
Recommendation.
Okay, recommendation. A recommendation and presentation, and Rabbeinu says, b'shamayim, when you are melamed schus on somebody, they know of that merit, of that schus, of that person, even without you. But the melitza opens gates for rachamim for that person. Rabbeinu uses another example. If they tell Laleinu that somebody passed away, okay, but then somebody says it with melitza, and he widens the subject of how good that person is, how one of a kind that person is, the kindness of the person is. He can bring a person to shed tears. Well, that he died before. Yeah, but the melitza opens up the gates. So Rabbeinu says when you are supplicating, when you're speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, try to find ways to present your side of things. Find good reasons. Don't be only on the defensive all the time. Open it up. Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help you? Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu should pay attention to you? Why should Baruch Hu could give you? It's not because you deserve it. Of course, nobody deserves. But I'm a litza. If you don't help me, you're covered. If I will fail, what will be you're covered? I live today, I'm gone tomorrow. But what about you're covered? Even though everything is pre-calculated in advance and so forth, whatever it is, but still you have all the Eden in Eretz Yisrael, and they're doing whatever it is they're doing. They learn from the Goyim. So besides, there's Bechira, there's everything else. But what about your covet, the old Jews? They're all persecuted, but they're going to be because they are Jews. Have Rahmanas on them. Be Mikar of them, and me amongst them. That is called Melitza. You know? Verschmalz it, Oil it up. Oil it up, make it juicy. Bezat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shall bless us with bracha and atzlocha and simcha. Adin Ketz, especially this month of simcha, Hashem will be zoche to see Yeshuas and the chamas and unbelievable deliverances. Bezat Hashem, v'vias Mashiach tzidkenu b'korov b'yameinu amen. Anybody has anything to add? You are welcome to it. We all see just black boxes here. Okay. Should have a good vach and a good month. And bracha v'atzlacha. Chassan. Omer is a chassan. Omer is a chassan. Omer is a chassan. Everybody, you see him? Say a mazel tov.
Mazel tov, mazel
Mazel
tov.
tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. Really?
Thank you very much.
Luli is not yet a chassan, but he's working his way towards it.
Daddy? תגיד שלום. תגיד שלום, דיידי. דיידי? שלום?
I think that we
לולי, תגיד שלום. הנה, דיידי. שלום.
Okay.